This is the G7 Pro from Osee, a 7-inch on-camera monitor with both HDMI and SDI, camera control, and a very impressive 3000 nits max brightness.
Welcome to Quick Look, where we look up products and what they are and why they exist in under 5 minutes.
We are ProAV, one of the largest suppliers of pro video and photography equipment in the UK.
So if you are looking to upgrade your kit, we would be happy to help.
The headline feature here, as with any monitor of course, is the screen. It's a 7-inch 1920 by 1080 10-bit LCD panel with a very high max brightness of 3000 nits. And it's a nice looking panel. You know, you put some nice graded footage through it and it just sings and comes alive. And that 3000 nits is really going to be helpful when working out and about in different lighting conditions and battling sunlight. Viewing angles are pretty good as well here. The other standout feature apart from the screen is camera control. Connect a USB-C cable to one of the supported cameras and you get control over your shutter speed, iris, ISO, and white balance, all of which are snappy and responsive, which can't always be said for some of the other monitors I've tried on the market. Then you get a record start and stop trigger, of course, and even full touch to focus support. Plus, you can see a little bit of your info on the record formats at the top of the screen, although these are quite hard to read sometimes depending on the way that the camera is telling the monitor it. The rest of the UI is pretty simple. They've different groups of assistance functions called My Sets, which you can customize and build yourself. You can set up to 8 of these and swipe between them while you're working. So for example, I've got false color, and then I swipe to get to a clean feed of my image, and then I swipe again to get to simple red peaking. But you can set these up as much as you want or as little as you want. There's a whole load of different tools you can choose from, and each one can be customized by swiping up from the bottom. The bottom right is a button to get you to the main settings menu, which is all laid out clearly and visually, so it's pretty straightforward to find your way around. Physically, the G7 Pro is a 7-inch monitor with a nice modern feel to it. It's fairly light at 420 grams and is made of this sort of rigid plastic, which feels strong and robust. The ports are all here on the back and are nicely recessed down into the enclosure as well, which is great to stop those SDI ports catching on things in your kit bag because they stick out so far. There's HDMI in and out and 3G SDI in and out, plus a USB-C port for power and camera control, of course. For other power, there's centrally placed slot for MPF batteries. I really like using these slim red Kinefinity ones because they're light and give you LED indicators, which is very helpful to have on small batteries like that. And you also have a locking DC port which can accept a wide range between 6 and 17 volts of power. On the left-hand side is an SD card slot, which is for firmware updates and loading in LUTs, and a headphone port. And then the top and bottom has a 1/4-inch screw thread with area locator pins for mounting. Also in the box is a USB-C cable, a D-tap to locking DC power cable, and a surprisingly nice swivel tilt monitor mount, all very helpful to include. So, who is the Osee G7 Pro for? Well, to me, this sits in the sweet spot in the middle of the on-camera monitors industry, where it's high-end enough to have pretty much every feature that people actually care about day to day, like LUTs, a high max brightness, camera control, and both HDMI and SDI in and out, which is very important. And those are all normally quite high-end features, but this is still priced at the more affordable end of the market. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's certainly more affordable monitors out there, but barely anything that is also this feature packed. So to me, this really feels like that sweet spot in the current on-camera monitor market between price and features. I hope that was helpful, and if you want to buy the Osee G7 Pro for yourself, then of course just head over to ProAV.